Fellas, I'm about to share some highly controversial wisdom that could get me flogged by the moral majority. But I'm going to take that risk, because too many clueless men constantly overlook the reality that some married women absolutely want you, even if they can never outright admit it. Now, before you brand me as some unscrupulous philanderer, hear me out. I'm not endorsing going full steam into any homewrecking adulterous affairs. My aim is to edify you on the covert energetic channels through which married women broadcast subconscious attraction toward men beyond their husbands. Why is this so important? Because ignoring these subtle yet persistent arcana of feminine invitation can cost you epic intimacy opportunities more viable than they appear. B. Prevent capitalizing on irreplaceable rapport with high-value partners. C. Leave these restless women feeling persistently unseen and unfulfilled. The healthiest path is recognizing these signs for what they are: natural human impulses looking for delicate validation without necessarily being acted upon. Kind of like admiring a gorgeous sunset without burning the world down trying to possess it. With radical transparency and some open-mindedness, I'll show you how to filter the pretenders from the genuinely restless creatures craving revitalization. You'll cultivate the emotional intelligence to discern when her innuendo warrants graceful acknowledgement rather than plowing forward heedlessly. Because trust me, this is a conversation very few men know how to constructively have. Even fewer understand the nuanced emotional languages and gestural cues constantly radiating from women achingly starved of true intimacy and soul resonance. But by the end of this video, you'll emerge as the progressive archetype able to extend radical recognition and understanding. While always upholding utmost respect and integrity, you'll validate these hungering feminine voices too often silenced by societal ignorance. So let's begin unveiling the hidden signs of profound restlessness from hitched women that most boneheads tragically misread or overlook completely. Hidden sign number 1, intimate eye contact. For hitched honeys, the windows to their famished souls tend to betray their truth well before the lips ever could. That visceral, white-hot ocular locking you detect from across the room? It's the resonant voice of her inner goddess screaming for you to drink in her essence as the divine feminine once more. See, most married women live starved of sustained eye contact that doesn't feel watered down by complacency and spousal overfamiliarity. Their natural radiance so often reduced to chores, routines, and hyper-pragmatic partnerships devoid of awe and reverence. So when you hold her gaze unwaveringly in a highly engaged, entranced way that conveys authentic presence and awareness of her aura, it instantly reawakens those dormant petals of herself she's been hopelessly craving intimate revival of for far too long. Those intoxicating, trance-inducing shared glimpses into one another's energetic essence are tacit validations that she remains an undiscovered universe awaiting consummate appreciation and unpeeling, despite the inertial forces of domestication trying to eclipse her grandeur. By engaging her amongst the colorless sea of men stumbling around obliviously, you're anointing a silent, seismic homecoming where she can finally let down her heavily armored feminine essence and unveil her ungoverned radiance for even just ephemeral, energetic satiation. Whether fully conscious of the profundity or not, any happily partnered woman attuned to her deeper feminine essence will reflexively feel this rekindling of untamed romantic invitation through your enraptured, lingering gazes. And struggle ardently against societal conditioning to divert her smoldering eyes away from yours. Hidden sign number 2, blatant flirtatious physicality. While most assume married women automatically slam the door shut on any mildly flirtatious physical contact with other men, those truly starved for intimacy can't resist baiting scenarios to experience exhilarating exchanges of skin electricity with worthy prospects. Things like unnecessarily grasping your arm or bicep while conversing, finding cheeky reasons to brush up against you during conversation, hugging with intense sustained pressure, her hands roaming your back, subtle below-the-belt proximity tests to feel your manhood's impression, anything that creates energetically charged faux reasons for touch. To the hyper-attuned female intuition well-versed in somatic languages, these nanosecond physical collisions are anything but inadvertent. Their Morse code foreplay broadcasts probing your manhood's preparedness to at least vibrate receptively, if not escalate further into intimacy's airspace. On a primal level, she's starving to feel her feminine magnetism awakening tangible desire pathways and unhinged masculinity once again. Even just brief electrifying reminders of that exhilarating spark she's been missing on the regular at home. but it also represents her subconscious baiting you to demonstrate self-restraint and integrity during these suggestive overtures. Any ham-fisted attempt to escalate from you could nuke those vulnerable appetition from the astral plane forever. She needs to experience your poised virility as potently as your actual restraint. If you strike that chord fluidly, savoring her brief gifted immersions into heightened feminine expression without extracting further, she reads that resonance loud and clear. You're one of the noble few ordained to receive her subterranean transmissions in a ceremonial context free of shame, repercussion, or regret. Hidden sign number 3, dripping suggestive innuendo. Perhaps the most overt calling card of a restless married craving rekindling is the abruptly brazen intimate innuendo that starts materializing during otherwise mundane conversation. Those startling moments where her word choices and metaphors take on unmistakable erotic inflections plied to disarm you. Wow, you must be absolutely exhausted working on that construction project all week in the hot sun. How do you find the energy to keep going for hours and hours in that kind of heat? Watching you polish off that massive burrito was mesmerizing. I don't know where you put it all. It's like you have hollow legs or something, haha. So I hear you're an avid rock climber? It amazes me how you get such a firm, brawny grip during ascents without completely gassing out early. Completely innocuous on the surface, yet dripping with suggestive metaphors designed to test your susceptibility to body undertones while retaining plausible deniability to retreat from if she senses turbulence. These aren't so much about trying to leap into sordid exchanges, but getting you to betray elevated receptivity to her coded feminine invitations in non-threatening contexts. She's calibrating your responsiveness to savoring those tasty sprinkles of intimately laced word frolic, which for a woman sadly starved of that playful mating dance of flirtation, holds immense gravitational significance. Just having a trusted male resonate grounded enthusiasm when she artfully deploys those morsels, rather than retreating from them fumblingly, reinforces her sexual essence and power. At last, here's someone capable of languidly swimming in her rapturous aura for even just fleeting rips without acting mortified or guilt-tripping her for it like her domesticated partner likely would. This alone reignites profound pockets of confidence and vitality long suppressed behind the suburban step-forward obligations of wife-mother life. For her wandering soul, being able to test and refine her seductive wordsmithing in measured exchanges is essential medicine. Hidden sign number 4, overt sexual complimenting. While suggestive innuendo signifies underlying attraction percolating, some married femme fatale take things to the next level by pointedly praising distinctive masculine attributes you clearly embody as a woman rediscovering her lustful core. You always look so well put together, that chiseled jawline and effortless style really suit you well. Damn, has anyone ever told you that your voice is just insanely sexy? Like warm velvet being poured directly into my ear. Unprompted compliments like these get deployed as unmistakable gambits probing your ability to soak in feminine desire without getting squeamish or disrespecting boundaries. She's essentially saying, here's an overt entree highlighting the very specific masculine essences I find irresistible. How will you choose to receive and honor that vulnerability? If you can gracefully accept the flattering praise while radiating poise, presence, and integrity, she recognizes your worthiness as a consecrated space holder for the intimate feminine truth she's been desperately craving to speak once more. To a starving beauty disconnected from the charged exchange of feminine-masculine polarity for far too long, having a man capable of absorbing those candid compliments while resonating profound respect and non-judgment is pure psychospiritual aphrodisiac. You're wordlessly sanctifying those unspoken cravings as sacred and natural to a resplendent being, rather than sources of guilt or deviance to bury beneath repressive conditioning. This is the fuel restoring her faith in the transcendent divinity of romantic attraction outside societally scripted channels. But make no mistake, mishandling these bold overtures by leering like a pig seeking tawdry gratification or rebuking outright can sever that potential lifeline completely. The slightest whiff of you being yet another domineering ego on the make can instantaneously vaporize her fragile bud of feminine reawakening. Hidden sign number 5, seeding future interactions. When married women feel that profound resonance beginning to form, you'll notice them employing clever tactics designed to seed and perpetuate future intersections on the astral plane even when physical geographical limitations make that inherently unlikely. Seemingly out of nowhere, she might invite you into her social media circles for ostensibly innocuous reasons. Oh, you're into rock climbing too? I'm part of this awesome community group that shares tips and coordinates meetups all the time. Here, let me send you the link. Or she might tee up obligatory run-back scenarios by feigning ignorance about mundane personal details. Wait, so what was your friend Jessica's puppy's name again? I always get those details confused and need to write them down. These might seem like harmless segues on the surface, but they represent deliberate labyrinths meant to install ethereal tethers pulling your resonance into her energetic orbit on an ongoing basis. Even if you live across different continents or time zones. She's breadcrumbing chances for your souls to reunite and drink deeply from the same intimate wellspring, even in dream space if that's all that's possible. To stay hydrated by your rapport and prevent that fragile erotic attunement she's finally rediscovering from dissipating into the ether once more. Because to a starved feminine spirit, consistent energetic renewals through recurrent tetherings on any plane infinitely trumps the fleeting highs of furtive isolated tryst. Your willingness to stay bound to her through romanticized provisional channels is what matters most to keep those intimate fires burning. That way, no matter how prohibitive life circumstances might insist upon strained physicality, your spirits can continue merging and intermingling on subtle planes. You're validating that revitalized core resonance as something to nourish and celebrate eternally, not relegate to crusty one-night stand status. Those clumsy dudes treating her suggestive seeds as nuisance opportunities to ignore or deflect promptly get weeded out by the feminine intuition. But follow her breadcrumb trail with sensitivity and care, and you become ceremoniously ushered into those sacred intimate chambers so few prove worthy of venerating properly. There you have it, gentlemen, the top 5 subtle energetic signatures broadcasting when a married woman feels vitally compelled to summon you into intimate energetic resonance despite worldly restrictions or domesticated vows. These intuitive codes represent her subconscious desperation for reuniting with something profound she's been severed from, the electric exchange of reciprocal feminine-masculine essence and desire that fuels our species' regenerative fires. And because so few enlightened men today grasp the nuanced truth that attraction remains an innate biological impulse rather than binary lifestyle choice, these cries often manifest through misconstrued channels causing unnecessary shame and heartache. But for those armed with the wisdom to validate these encoded revelations as sacred and natural to the feminine spirit, your role becomes anchoring a space for those wildfire truths to be properly perceived and honored as intended. Not heedlessly indulging or dishonoring them, but extending ceremonious recognition that she is seen as the divine manifest embodied. Never requiring physical satiation in form, only consecrated reverence in energetic essence. When you resonate that frequency of noble masculine stewardship, preserving the integrity around her vulnerability at all costs, you open up profound new dimensions many men tragically overlook. You become the chalice into which she can pour those furtive yet priceless feminine cravings. The ceremonial space upholding the sanctity of her deepest romantic yearnings, liberated from any inhibitions or oppressive judgment. The intimacy channeled shifts from frenzied lustful desperation to sublime soulful resonance, coursing eternally between kindred spirits, one giving voice to humanity's most transcendent feminine longing, and the other holding sacrosanct sacred space for its consecrated emanation. And ideally, this heightened state of mutual awareness and divine feminine recognition allows her to find renewed reverence and satiation within her existing bonds. With you as the mystical conduit through which that profound romantic essence gets safely reignited without betrayal. But regardless of the circumstantial outcomes, your role as enlightened masculine archetype is clear: to ensure the feminine soul's most hallowed intimate truths always have ceremonious space to radiate brightly without suppression. No longer force those aching cravings into sordid shadows, but usher them into the rapturous light where lasting soul resonance and wisdom can flourish for generations to come.